Just for people all remember, the plum committee is not just one person, it's a committee of three. Who are the other two members of the plum committee at this time?
Don't recall, but I can get that information for you.
Okay. I think for the stakeholders here, it would be wise for them to know that there's three votes, not just one, on that committee. Also, too, will the councilman entertain a town hall meeting with him presiding to listen to the community members here? Because a lot of times, and really no offense here, but the councilman is the elected representative.
Yes.
This project, if I understand now, this is the third neighborhood council that has heard this project, or will hear the project in any committee or board incarnation. And I think at this point, the councilman needs to step in and be a presence here, because you're having people here who are complaining about the process. Okay? Needs to be, according to my information, the project come to neighborhood council twice, and this would be the third incarnation of that request. But I think now, this is way beyond the neighborhood council, as you stated in your opening remarks. This is going to the planning committee, and this is where the councilman needs to take a proactive approach and meet in person with the people. It's one thing for us. I was on for the record, I was on the previous board where this project was heard, okay, when the presentation was made. I'm not going to take any comments because this is going before committee tomorrow, and I'll reserve my comments for the committee meeting tomorrow. But I think at this point, this project is now in the realm of responsibility of the elected leader of the community to be responsible for listening to the community members' concerns. Plain and simply, you're seeing the people coming out here tonight, obviously, for whatever reason, there's a communication breakdown somewhere, but now this is to the planning committee, and this is where the councilman in the plum committee, which anybody who's familiar with city hall politics, plum is a very influential position in the city of LA, especially when it comes to election time, okay? But I think at this point, the councilman needs to step in and get engaged in the process. Okay, it's one thing for us to make an opinion, but according to my background, it's been done twice. Now it's the councilman's responsibility, as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, Mr.
Like I said, I wasn't here before all that stuff that happened, but as you know, the Councilmember did, lead the effort of the Northeast hillside ordinance. So we know that path is on the left, and that will determine, well, not.
I kind of listened to you a little bit, and I kept wondering, he's going to leave it up to the community to do what they need to do. But he's gone to the developer, Lombardy, and said that they should do the outreach to be able to get this done. Then the other thing I hear is, I don't have the information that the community needs because I'm brand new to the job. So therefore, that's an excuse.
What do you mean information?
Right?
Clarify yourself, please.
Excuse me?
I'm asking if you could clarify that comment.
Well, you say you don't have any information about what happened before, right?
Reference to what issue?
Lombardy. Isn't that what we're talking about?
I don't think there was a point that I said I don't have that information related to before. I think that was in reference to 76 and 79. Yes.
Okay. So then the thing that I asked myself, because I've done this before with the previous plum committee chair. And so go try to and tell them, the community was never informed about projects.
Right. No.
And now, not suddenly we don't want the projects.
Right.
Now that we think about it. But then we get beaten up. You know where we get beaten up? Process. They always come back with, well, you didn't follow the process. Well, who's supposed to teach us that process?
Yeah.
See, that's where I believe that our politicians forget that they're public servants, just like us here.
Thank you.
We're supposed to teach you the process. And believe me, I would give it to you if I knew, but you can't get it from them. That's the sad part. So I think what really needs to be done, hopefully, that the councilman's office, especially now that he's taken over, this particular very powerful pro-developer type, and I'm a real estate broker, so not to say that I'm not for real estate, I am. But I think it has to be real estate development that the community wants and needs.
Absolutely.
And I would hope that a councilman would do us the favor of remembering that we're the constituents that he's supposed to represent, not the banks, not the developers, nobody else. So if he really cares, maybe we could have a process meeting where they could teach us what the process is, so that at least we know what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talked about the process. Councilmember, before I got here, went through the process, and it's my understanding that LA-32 did submit a letter in favor of this project, correct? Right, so now,
Right.
we're starting the process all over again. Right?
So this is a new opportunity for the process to begin.
To begin.
But again, what is the process?
Part of that process,
No. What is the total process? Without the total process, that's where we get beaten up in the little pieces, because guess what, folks? One little check mark wasn't done, and you're out.
So I think what we need to do is to have, at the point of the discussion, either tomorrow or at the next board meeting, to have someone, either come to explain how this group of stakeholders, along with this board, need to make sure that the process either goes forward because we want it, or it doesn't go forward because we do not want it. But it needs to come from the leadership as opposed to from the stakeholders, since we want to learn as to how the process needs to continue and to be put into structure, so that anyone here can either go on the website, to a committee meeting and say, this is how I know that I can protest or that I can be in favor of a project. So we would kindly request from the council member's office to have either someone from this committee come, himself would be great, or someone who can give us a process as to how we as stakeholders, as someone who cares about our community and what happens, can put forward our concerns and our input more than anything else. Because this board is supposed to be the voice of all of these folks here. So, so if we can't do that, then we're not doing our job. So.
give it to the land use commission.
Yes, thank you. I
And
did
they
say
were
that.
not there yesterday.
I want to take one, I'm so sorry?
And they were not there yesterday.
Plum committee is tomorrow.
No, I'm talking about what I talked about on my comment book. The public hearing on the Caltrans.
Oh, okay, that's a different issue. Thank you. Mr. Chavez, last comment. For those of you who have questions for Mrs. Ferias, he will be available after he makes the last response to Mr. Chavez.
Okay, as far as Poplar and Huntington Drive, the 76 gas station, it's been there forever. That gentleman, the owner of that property and the business, did come before this board at a different administration other than this one, and presented that. And in terms of the business, at that time, it wasn't considered 7-Eleven. Maybe they hadn't approached them or eased them, or whatever. But when you own a business, you can change from what company to what company, you know. So if he changed that, whatever it was, the name, it went, and it's going to 7-Eleven, I don't see a problem whatsoever in that. It's just gonna be a different name, a different company taking over that particular gas station store. Okay, the car wash itself is the part that's being built with a concrete block. You see a little room, you get out of concrete, that's where the car wash is. Where the double doors are, that's where the store is. The rest will be the island for the gas pump. In terms of the council office, for you folks out there, you constituents, you stakeholders, you can go to the office, you all know where it is, right across from McDonald's there. And you can ask this gentleman, or whoever's on duty there, whether it's the receptionist or one of them, whoever comes up, and ask them to put you in the calendar that they have for the councilman and the activities for this part of District 14, which is the El Sereno area, or 90032, as some people call it. So all of you can find out all the activities that go on from this area. If you go to that office and ask someone, whoever's on duty there, you give them your email, it'll come up on your phone or on your desktop, okay? You'll be apprised as to whatever's going on, anything here, or anywhere else in the 14th district, okay? Now, in terms of the process that we're talking about, like anything else, anywhere you go, it's hurry up and wait, okay? Like the law and lawyers and judges and all that. It's incumbent upon us to learn about the law. If you can't afford a lawyer, you're on your own, right? If you can't get a lawyer to go pro per, you're still on your own. You have the responsibility to learn about the process of whatever you're in that courtroom, whatever the issue that you're there, that brought you there. The same thing here. There's all kinds of regulations and all kinds of things that we all do in our lifetime. And there's a process for all that stuff. But it's up to us to go and find out what the process is. I really admire you and I salute all of you for being here. But it falls on you to learn what the so-called process is that other board members are talking about. They don't have the responsibility to come and teach us. But if all of you go to that office down there, our office, and ask, they can probably set up something. If all of you are willing to come on a certain day that they program and they'll bring someone to teach you whatever it is you need to learn. They have a big room in there, okay? You can make it happen because you're in large numbers. They can teach you some of that process if it's up to them, if they can. Some things they're not authorized to do as much as we think that they are. So it's really complicated politics.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. Thank you, Mr. Steady. I'm sure that there's community members who would like to ask direct questions from you, so you're welcome to do so. After that, as we move with our agenda. Thank you. Mr. Montano.
Madam Chair, before we move to item 6, I'd like to make a motion that we move an item out of order. We have members and staff from the Bureau of Engineering here this evening. It will be item 8C, and I'd like to ask that a motion be placed to hear that item at this time.
Do we have a second? All those in favor, please raise your hand.
May I have a count of that, please? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We don't have a quorum.
Okay, you do.
Ms. McGuire?
We
We're
don't have a
moving an
quorum.
item up.
I see, I count 11 board members, so let's do this vote again, please.
Raise your hand to move item number 8C up.
All in
next.
favor signify by raising your hand, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Opposed? Abstention? Motion. Yeah, I count it. I got 11-0-0 to move 8C out of order.
At this time, we're gonna ask Bureau, Department of Public Works, Bureau of Engineering to provide us with, you don't have to take a 15 minutes presentation, but if you need to, you have 15 minutes for the presentation. Okay, we'll do 10 minutes so that the public can ask us questions as well as the board.
Speak nice and loud.
Yes, I don't have a presentation for 15 minutes, but I do have an update regarding this project.
Okay?
My name is Dylan Tran, I'm with the Bureau of Engineering. I have Jerry Hernandez, he's going to be the construction manager for the Soto Street Bridge project. I have Barrett Sarkis from the Department of Transportation, who's going to be working along with us. I'm the new project manager, replacing George Juan. I do have the handout for the board members. This handout. project has been awarded by the board on June 26th, 2013. Construction will start in September of this year. We have an approved traffic control plan. Has been well thought out over the last 5 years. We've been working closely with the Department of Transportation to do the construction in different stages. We are fully aware of the sensitive area and the construction and the traffic in the area. We have been meeting with the council office. We're here today to announce that we're going to have a community meeting, a workshop as requested by various members in the community. It's going to be on July 24th or 25th of this month. I need to confirm the date with the council office. Lastly, I'd like to thank some of the community members who went to the board to support the project. We are ready to go into construction. We have a contractor in place. The construction duration will be approximately 3 years.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, I don't know what people you informed.
So that's all I have.
What are we you guys do?
Okay, so is that the completion of your presentation? Okay, my understanding from the chairperson of the land use committee was that Mr. Tom Williams was to also present tonight. Did you want to present, Mr. Williams, on this issue? Okay. We'll have 5 minutes for you. Thank you very much, and then we'll address questions as they come up from the board and the public.
Does anyone live in Sarasota? Okay, you're going to get hammered,
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
but we don't know how much we're going to get hammered. Because if you look at the contract documents, there are 4 images that say something about moving this there, stuff like that. So let's go back to the basics. Do you see how much steel is under that bridge? To get a piece of steel out of that bridge, you gotta have what is called a hoe ram that goes to break down the concrete. Then you have to have a lot of hoists, cranes, to pull it out and put it onto the truck. Oh, by the way, they will detour to Easton
Oh, great, yay.
because they don't know the streets. They don't know that many people there will be 50 feet away from those hoe ramps when they go. I've been in heavy construction. Today I was over talking about 710 construction, which will be much worse. But here, we're right next to it. Where do the buses stop during the construction? They didn't even know that there were 3 bus lines that go through that intersection. Where are they going to put the bus stops during construction? We don't know. The last meeting that they had, you had about 5 minutes to ask a question, and they processed maybe 3 questions. But there was no way of saying, okay, I live here, what's going to happen next to me? And the images that they had for the previous fiasco were totally inadequate for us because we live here. How do the children get from the east side of Huntington to the school during the construction? How do you get across that intersection? We don't know, and we need detailed alignments and a schedule. Every contractor has a schedule, usually very complicated for everything, but they can summarize it. This week we'll have this, next week we'll have that. So at least you know which way to go, because some of those areas only have 1 point of access. There's only 1 entrance to some of those streets.
Yes, yes.
And the other access points may be somewhat problem to get to. So all we were asking, and we repeatedly asked the Board of Public Works, and I say on Friday, be down there again to tell us what's going to happen. Work with us. Because if you don't have community participation, you're going to get community disruption.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams. So that we understand what we're doing on this is that, one moment, let me finish my thought here, is, land use has a motion on the agenda for today requesting that the Bureau of Engineering, do a workshop so that some of the questions that Dr. Williams and everyone else has brought and would like to know more about, is provided to us. So, I don't want us to go into more discussion on, because what we want is to make sure the Bureau of Engineering comes back to us to do the workshop and to give us a timeline as to when they can do it, either as a special meeting for us or at the next meeting. Being that this is moving into September, I would request that the Bureau, because it's time sensitive, agree to come back to us on a special meeting so that we can address this issue. So.
Not here, though. Have it over in the elementary school.
Right.
Not here.
Right. No.
4 hours. Available.
It's just a workshop that we want to make sure. So there is a motion on, yes, sir.
The workshop that we're talking about is going to be on July 24th, 25th.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, 26th is a Friday. You're expecting a lot of people.
No, 24th, 25th.
What?
24th and 25th.
We usually have to work with the council office to determine the location and time.
Okay, so you do have the 24th and 25th? More 25th?
He said, I thought, he said 24th and 26th.
Or 24th.
Or the 26th.
No. Thank you, Dr. Williams. All right, so we will get a date from you guys and a location so that we can inform our stakeholders regarding this workshop. All right. So, Madam Chairperson from the land use, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a letter to the Department of Public Works and Bureau of Engineering to provide a thorough workshop regarding construction, scheduling, and staging program for the Soto Bridge intersection project at a site within the effective vicinity of the project. Workshop must take place prior to the contractor's initiation of the project and provide contractors notification and major milestones and at least monthly scheduling of the activities and any changes of road access through the areas and detours throughout LA-32 neighborhood council area.
On 31.
Thank you. We have a second? I would like all the board members to please come back to the table. We need to vote on this. Mr. McGuire, are you still here? Mr. McGuire?
Okay.
There's no comment first in this, so, straightforward. Because we're limited in quorum, I would like to have everyone stay in their seats throughout the meeting until we're done, if you don't mind. Or until we vote on things. Michael?
Madam President, point of order. First of Mr. McGuire, the board member, my understanding is he has left for the evening.
Here.
Oh, he changed his mind, just like, we guys have a provider changing our mind too, not just women.
Should I make the motion again?
Yeah.
Mr. McGuire, have you had, okay. Have you had a chance to read the motion that, for the letter that was requested?
Repeat it again for his sake, please. Yeah, please, you guys, can't hear me, just you can read it.
Go ahead and read it.
Okay. I'd like to present a
This is
motion
why I'm
to
asking, I'm sorry, this is why I'm asking that everyone stays on their seats so that we can get all this done on this agenda. Thank you very much. I'm not the chairperson, so I can play the role a little more strict.
Go ahead. That's okay.
All right, so the motion has been moved and second. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
All right, thank you very
Motion
much.
passed.
We're gonna go back to number 6. And ladies and gentlemen, you will be receiving the letter, sometime in the group, regarding the workshop. And, as soon as you know the date, it would be advisable that you let us know. Thank you. Yes. You have to come back. Okay, there's a president's report. We're in the process of, this is for discussion and possible action. We, are moving to create two ad hoc committees, one for, one of the motions is to create an ad hoc committee, committee will work with Empower LA to outreach to the community during the upcoming election. Election committee, will be comprised of members not seeking to run on the board. So that's the first part of the motion from the president's report.
You have everybody back in?
So is there discussion on the motion to create an ad hoc committee, for the elections, for the newly created, election process?
Thank you. Understanding that our elections will be held, probably early next year, perhaps April, March, and May next year. There's no urgency to appoint this ad hoc committee. The bylaws indicate that the president is entitled to appoint members, and the president is not here this evening, you're acting chair. The board is to ratify the president's position, but without the president being here, I don't believe we're in compliance with the bylaws to appoint committee members.
I think, the resolution here, or the motion here is to create a committee now, and to leave it to the, chairperson to be able to appoint. Does not, this motion is not asking for us to appoint anyone, it is asking to create a committee so that she's able to appoint at some point, or to have a list, of community members who are interested also being part of the elections committee. So at this time, I would move that we consider the motion to create a committee, even though it's sometime in the future, so that she can go ahead and appoint whomever she wants, and those stakeholders who are interested in being part of the election committee can also sign up. We have, little sheets over here for those who are interested in doing that.
I believe that's fair.
Discussion.
No, yeah, I believe that's fair. There's no point in just recommending.
All right, that's what, that was the intent of the motion, it wasn't the motion to have a point for this board of this interim or pretending chair to appoint anyone, so, Mr. Chavez.
That's one of the reasons why I went out of my way to get this for you board members, because all the MPs are already starting to work on this. This thing that there is no rut, believe me, there is a rut. It takes a lot of time, it's very complicated, thing to do. It takes quite a bit of money, and a lot of decisions have to be made. So there's dates here to tell you, those of you that were involved in the election, the plan process, you have an idea, because we all went through it, okay? It's gonna be pretty much same old, same old. But instead of the city running it, as you did last time, this time, it's gonna be run like done. And this pamphlet that I put together for you, it's got money, it's got quite a set of information here to give you an idea of what you're in for. So
Thank you.
Support what the vice president said, or the president, sorry.
Thank you. We, Mr. Pacheco.
If I may, if we look at the bylaws, hopefully these are the bylaws that we're running on. It says that the president shall, and that goes down to, this is Article 6, officers. Staff, and then under section 2, number 4, staff committee staff define in Article 7 and appoint members to such committee. Then I flip over to section 7, right, and it says here that under ad hoc committees, the board may approve ad hoc committees which shall deal with temporary issues. So we do that here.
Right.
So the only thing that the president will do
Is appoint the people in there.
Yeah, so
Yep.
that's what we're doing today is legit.
That is,
Okay.
thank you very much. The validation is always good. So that's, we have a motion, we need some, okay?
Okay, so the motion,
Good, I guess. So we need someone to make the motion, first and the second, and the second. So they have to be the one. You will read it, right? We're only doing the first part, and then we'll do the second part of this motion. The motion reads, to create an ad hoc election committee. The committee will work with Empower LA to outreach to the community during the upcoming elections. Election committee will be comprised of members not seeking to run on the board. Okay?
And the rest of it, it's still, we can continue.
You wanna
No,
do
no,
it?
no, no. You're separating the motion into two pieces?
Just because I don't wanna confuse people, or I can continue.
No, no, I think the motion, and correct me if I'm wrong, the motion is stated under the Brown Act. It's
Okay.
that motion, not one that we separate.
Okay, so let me read the second part of the motion. There's also an ad hoc committee that is being created for inventory. Apparently, we have an issue with inventory, so the second part of this motion is to create an ad hoc committee, inventory committee. The committee will take inventory of all equipment purchased with LA-32 funds, assure that it is in the LA-32 storage, and complete and submit a report required by Dan to the board for approval. So that's the entire motion. There's two ad hoc committees that are being created, one for the elections, one for the inventory. Those stakeholders who are interested